My name is Dan Voinis. I'm a naturalist and documentarian, and I've spent my whole life working with and studying animals, particularly reptiles. Now, I'm using my filmmaking skills to share the animals I love with the rest of the world. These are my adventures. Right now, I'm in the ranchlands and scrub forests of South Texas. And out here, there's a war brewing between two massive snakes. The Western Diamondback, probably the most iconic and prolific venomous snake in North America, and the elusive Texas Indigo Snake. Texas Indigo snakes are rare and they're threatened, but they are the largest snake in Texas, one of the largest snakes in all of North America. These animals are top predators, and they will eat anything in their path, including rattlesnakes. So what I want to do out here is I want to try and find both of these snakes and understand their relationship and how these two massive reptiles can coexist and interact with each other. The first step in finding these snakes is understanding their biology. So indigo snakes and diamondback rattlesnakes are both apex predators, but they take two very different approaches in hunting and lifestyle. Rattlesnakes are ambush predators. And so what they do is they sit and wait, and then they just strike. They're relatively slow and heavy bodied, but they have a wicked fast strike and powerful venom that will kill their prey very quickly. Indigo snakes are the exact opposite of an ambush hunter. They actively hunt for prey on the move. They're non-venomous. They don't use venom, they don't use constriction. Indigos literally use their own body weight, their own strength, to overpower their prey and swallow it down. They basically just beat it up, just physical strength. And that's one of the things that makes them just so unique. Because these snakes both take on different lifestyles, it enables them to share virtually the same habitat, except for one thing, and that is the fact that indigos will eat rattlesnakes. They do have a resistance, in some cases complete immunity, to rattlesnake venom, and they do get slightly bigger than rattlesnakes. If they come across one, they'll love nothing more than just to swallow it down whole. And unfortunately, we are losing them. They're a protected species. They're only found in Texas, and they're mostly just losing their numbers due to urban expansion, roads. They take a clobbering on roads. We need to be more aware of them. If we can protect their habitat, protect the space that we're in, they'll be able to thrive, and all the animals that share habitat with them, all the animals that they eat and eat them, will be able to thrive as well. This is no easy task ahead of me. Rattlesnakes are masters of camouflage, and finding indigo snakes is like trying to find a moving target. I start by looking in practically every den or hole I see, hoping to find a snake escaping the hot sun. Dens that I can see. Hang on. Ooh, check this out, look. Got some feather right here, and then right here, this is an owl's den. And this is an owl pellet. Owl pellets are actually fantastic pieces of zoological information, because you can learn so much about what the animal's been eating, kind of nutrition it's been getting just from this. And not only can you tell what the owl's been doing, but you can tell what kind of animals it's been eating, and therefore what kind of animals live in the area. This owl pellet tells me that this area is rich with small animals. Perfect food for a large snake like a rattlesnake or indigo snake. Continuing my trek, I encounter an old scrapyard. There's one thing you can always count on to find snakes. It's debris. Anything that humans leave behind, you can always count on to provide habitats and hiding spaces for any number of animals, especially snakes. I spend hours combing through the junk and debris. No snakes so far, but I do see plenty of signs of life. You always want to be cautious that anything we flip over, we always put back where it was, because we don't want to disturb any habitat. Just because there isn't anyone home today doesn't mean that this isn't the home of someone at some point. Eventually, I find something. Not a snake, but something just as neat. Look, it's a little toad. Here, I'm gonna get him out here. Yeah, little frog. That's a narrow-mouthed toad or narrow-mouthed frog. called a narrow-mouthed frog because tiny little head. It's got a very wide body, but a very tiny mouth. Now he might be big and scary to the ants and insects, but to a snake, this guy is a very, very fine meal. So hopefully, you know, we find the little guys who'd be eating him before they find him. Put you back in here.
Sure enough, I find evidence of snakes right away.
Hello. Check this out. Snakeskin. Not something super big. That might be an earth snake or a Kay's brown snake, but something here left this skin behind. They left it pretty recently. Snake sheds are very fragile. They will disintegrate in a couple days when left outside, especially when under here where there's a million insects and fungi and various other stuff. So there was a snake right here pretty recently.
I searched the junkyard until nightfall, after which I hit the back roads. Snakes are often found on roads at night, absorbing the residual warmth from the pavement. We don't get very far when my luck finally pays off.
Here it is. This is the Western Diamondback. You can see him in his body. So yeah, this guy, I'd put him around 5-6 feet. Whew. You can see in the light that textbook diamond-shaped patterning along his back. Okay, this is where I like him. I have my tongs right in the crook of him, so he can't really get too far over his body and bite me. Oh, he's hissing, you're hissing. He's a little angry, he's a little riled up, and that's okay, because I'm messing with him. You should never, ever do this. I'm a trained professional. I've studied snakes my entire life. I'm just working with him. Okay, see, he's calming down a little more. He's not even rattling. He just wants to get away. Okay, so see, right now, his tail is twitching a little bit. He's not full rattling, but he's getting a little peeved. You can see that the way he has his head, his neck, it's sort of curved up in an S. That's like the hammer of a pistol. He's just ready to fire. That's his strike position. So if I were to mess with him anymore, he'd start striking. He's a little cooled down, but he's okay. These guys are probably, you know, the most feared snakes out here. But honestly, they're not any worse. They're not any more ill-tempered than any other snake I've encountered. In fact, you know, this is probably one of the wild snakes I've encountered that's tried to bite me the least. He's just like any other snake, just like any other animal, just wants to be left alone. I'm not doing that right now. I'm not leaving him alone. That's just because I want you guys to see this. I just want you to see and understand how the rattlesnake works. I want you to see them how I see them. I see this beautiful animal, this beautiful pattern. It'll blend perfectly into the rocks, into the grass. This miracle of evolution. And actually, this is not the top predator in the snake world out here. That's the Texas Indigo Snake. That's what we're here to find. I'd say we've messed around with this guy long enough. He's probably getting a little stressed. And there he goes. Come on, into the grass where you'll be safe.
Encouraged by this thrilling encounter, I head back out the next day, searching for my indigo snake. This is no easy task. The mobile, nomadic nature of the indigo makes it very hard to pin down and find. One snake can patrol an area of several square miles, and this is leading to their decline in numbers. They need so much space that any development could pose a threat to them, unlike rattlesnakes, which need far less space. As my time on this trip runs out, I start to worry if it might be too late for this area's indigos. My last location is by a permanent water source, a favorite spot for these animals.
Hold up. Okay. Look at this. This is a snake shed. Okay, this is exactly the same as the shed we found back at the junkyard, only this is massive. This is so incredible. Usually at this size, it'll break off into pieces. It won't be in one continuous piece. Okay, so with this size scales, with these large scales, smooth scales, and this head, this is an indigo snake. This is the shed skin of a Texas indigo. The exact snake we're looking for. Oh my God. So, okay, I'm about 6 foot. So this is over 6 feet of snake, and it's still, look at that, it's still missing 2 feet of tail. This has to be a 7-8 foot snake. This is gotta be one of the biggest indigo snakes out here. Biggest snake out here, definitely. Oh my gosh. This guy will definitely be eating anything he wants. This will be eating the rattlesnake that we saw earlier. And look, you can see the perfectly preserved scales on the head, on the top, and the lower jaw. So when snakes shed their skin, it's sort of like how when you roll off a sock, it sort of pulls inside out. So this is the inside. And then the outside is in here. Look at this, look at the size, the ventral scales, the scales on the belly. These are like 2.5 inches, that wide. This is a snake that would be about that thick around. This has gotta be an incredibly huge animal. And these sheds are very fragile. They disappear, they will disintegrate and break apart within days. So this snake, he's still around, he's still alive. You know, I gotta say, I didn't know if we were ever gonna find any kind of sign that this snake is here, but you know, I think I can go home happy knowing that these animals are still out here and they're growing to this massive size.
Although I didn't get my live indigo, this is just as exciting. This shed means that a massive, living snake is in the area and was just here a few days ago. This spells hope for this area and the countless species living here. If these massive snakes can coexist, maybe we can too. Nature is so intricate and complex, and it relies entirely on careful balance. And it is that balance that we must maintain.
Unfortunately, I think we're just about out of time here. We're gonna have to head back, so, you know, I'm definitely planning on coming out here and going for round 2 because this shed came from an absolutely amazing animal, one that I definitely want to be able to see and want to get my hands on.